Welcome to Stitches and Sundries. This is a Flosstube podcast about cross stitch and stitchy goodness. My name is Lauren. You can follow me on Instagram at LaurenUpStitching, where I go through phases of posting things, and sometimes I go through phases where I don't post things. It has been literally to the day a month since my last update. It has been so busy. And I actually recorded a whole podcast like 2 weeks ago, and it was only 15 minutes long. I was like, it's not even worth, it wasn't even worth editing. So I was just like, I'll put it off because it's been so crazy and chaotic. Not for any good reason, just busy. I got sick. Not really sick. I just got really run down. All my friends also were sick at the same time, and they had like actual symptoms. And I was like, I just need to nap for 24 hours. And they're like, oh, it feels like I'm literally losing a lung. And I'm like, oh, we're on different pages. So I got really run down. I've also been trying to focus on getting a blanket done for my aunt. Made some really good progress on that this past month. And it was my birthday last weekend. And despite that, we barely celebrated. Like, I'm hoping to do something in the next couple weeks for my birthday. I just want to go to dinner. But we had a family bonfire, which was really nice. We got to see people we don't get to see that often. It was super nice to catch up. And then what else happened? Oh, we went to my cousin's wedding. I stitched this, if you've watched previous episodes, I stitched this for my cousin Cassie, for her as a bridal gift. And it was really cute. Their wedding was in a barn, and they had, it was so cold though. It was a day in September. I thought it would be warmer. It rained and was so cold the whole time. We're in this unheated barn. It was so cold. But, it was a kind of wet chili that starts out being like, oh, this is slightly uncomfortable. And the more you sit in it, the colder and colder it gets. And they had to do all their pictures out in the rain. I felt bad. I'm sure they're going to be beautiful though. And that's the day you get. You have to celebrate the day you get. But anyway, she had this section where you would sign the guest book and do all this stuff. And she also decorated it with pieces that people had given her. So she had, a collage that a friend had made of their relationship through the years, of all the pictures that she had of them. And my stitchy thing was there. And her dad had made her her dad's a carpenter. Now he's just stuck making doors. It's funny how that stuff works out. But a cut wood, it was like a raw cut of wood, so it still had the bark and everything on it. And then he had carved their name and important dates and stuff in it, so it looked like the old the heart carving, K and A, and dates and stuff. It was really pretty. And so they had that kind of stuff around the guest book, so it was really nice to show off. And it was a beautiful wedding, and I cried because I cry at weddings. So all that to say, despite being a month, I really don't have a ton of updates. I feel like the things I worked on, I made good progress on, but I only worked on a few things. So let's talk cross stitch. I have 4 whips and a new start, an unfortunate new start. And you know what? Let's just go into that. So my previous boss, I'm going to call her my previous boss. I had a couple of little jobs in between there, but she was my previous actual boss, that I cared about. And I will literally always say she was the best boss I ever had. And we worked out of a office that was in her house. So she had they had converted and added an addition to put her business in her house. And so we knew her whole family. And her husband is just one of the best people in the world. And his mom recently passed away. And so I checked around and said, would he, my immediate response is to stitch something. I sent a card, I called and everything, but my immediate response is to stitch something. And I said, do you think that's appropriate? And I kind of waffled a little bit, but I got confirmation. Yes, he would really love that. And so I've decided to stitch something. And I should have brought the paper, but I'll stick it in here. So I am stitching In Loving Memory by Stoney Creek. I'm using the called for flosses. And I'm stitching it on 28 count Lugana 1/1 so that it is very small. And I'll show you here in a second. But I'm going to finish it as an ornament. When my mom passed away, we got a Christmas ornament. And it's one of the things I really, really appreciate, because I'm not going to have memorial stuff out 24/7. That's too much. That just lingers things. And maybe some people really love that, but a Christmas ornament where you take it out and you remember the person and you have this moment of you know, mini mourning again and mini remembrance is really nice. So again, I'll put it up here again. Doing In Loving Memory by Stoney Creek. And this is where I am at. And you can see how small this is going to end up being. It's going to be about 5.5 by 5.5, I think. So kind of a little big for an ornament, but not terrible. And it is turning out really nicely. I am stitching this on 28 count Wichelt Queen Anne's lace. And it is a really pretty, like, mottled green and white. But gosh darn, these white flowers are killing me. I'm stitching them so tiny, and they're the exact color of my fabric. The exact. Maybe if I had used a stark white, and obviously if I stitched it bigger, but they are the exact color of my fabric. You can see down there, like, I'm starting on another one, and you can barely tell. There is a good amount of back stitching in this, but it is very small. I think I am 25% done already. So yeah, it is coming along. It's really pretty. And I think he'll really like it. He's a big gardener. His mom was a big gardener. That's why I chose the more feminine floral. It's also for his mom. Like, and I'm hoping to have that done by Christmas. It is going to be a focus piece because it's stitching really quickly, despite the teeny tiny stitches that make me go cross-eyed. It is stitching up really quickly. Where did I put the bag? It's in a butterfly bag. So it's going to be a focus piece to get it out the door. So I have 2 things I really need to finish by Christmas. So you might be really bored with the same update every time. And I'm sorry about that, but that's what gift stitching is like. So that's my new start, an unfortunate new start. But I love gift stitching. I also, it seems weird to talk to a much older person about losing their mom. And that's something my mom passed away 7 years ago, this month. So it's like odd to say, like, no, I get where you're coming from, to this much older person that's just now experiencing something that I've, you know, unfortunately got to experience pretty young. But moms are a thing. All right, whips. 4 whips. This is, what's it called? I have my book because I literally was like, I'm not going to remember where I am. This is I Want to Believe by Alliton Embroidery. I didn't need the book for that. But let me see here. I worked on this. This was my focus piece for September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 days in September, which is pretty darn good. Don't need that. This is where I was. Oh my gosh. You breathe in this house in a black top and you're covered in cat hair. And here is the progress I've made. I've made tons of progress. Tons of progress. I am more than 60% done. Is that right? I am more than 60% done. So, let me think here. I finished all these trees, which were a pain in the ass. Finished all the trees, started sky, filled in a big swath of sky. The UFO is right here right now, like it's literally right there. So made huge progress on this in September. Oh, I feel like I'm going to keep it with in loving memory because I would love to have this done by year end. I would love to have this done by the end of the year. I think it's doable. In a month, let me look here. I'm looking here. I went from 45% to 62%. So it's like 15%. So if I do another month, that I'll be almost at 90. So I mean, it's totally doable. And it's a fun stitch to work on. It's a lot of color fill. The dark, I've made mistakes choosing the dark fabric. On the one hand, the coverage looks fantastic. Like the full coverage effect is really good. And I tried this on a white before and it just did not look as good. But gosh darn, that dark blue on that black is just like, it makes you cross-eyed. It is just, it's not as bad as the white on white. Because there, I am literally going by count. Like, I cannot see once I've finished a stitch, so I just have to know where I am in the pattern. This I can at least see that I finished a stitch. But it is rough. I need exact lighting conditions. But it's coming along. I'm going to finish this as a decorative pillow for my sister, for her craft table, for her little paint table. And so every time I get it out, she's like, are you working on my pattern? As though I don't always work on her patterns. Next up, I have Greetings from Beyond by Night Spirit Studio. I'm brain dead today. And here's where I was. What's in here? Oh, floss is in there. And here is where I am. So that is really, really coming along. I did a ton up here in the smoke. Got that all filled in. Oops, sorry, bump table. Started on the frame. I am, let's look here. Let's look in the book. The book knows all. I am, gosh darn it, let's not be looking off to our side. Look, like it's a Bible. Almost 60% done, 57% done. So I make pages for all my things. And we're playing Betrayal at the House on the Hill. And this is a card they told us to, Betrayal at the House on the Hill Legacy. So it is, you rip up cards and stuff, and they were like, rip up this card. I was like, hell no, that's going in my book. I'll show you just for funsies. This is my page for the In Loving Memory. I thought that was really pretty. These violets are like kind of like featured in the pattern. But yeah, so this is coming along very quickly. I've started looking for a frame for this. I really want an arched frame. That is going to be really hard. Arched frames are usually pretty darn small, and this is probably 7 by 9, I want to say. That's a really hard size. So either I have to get something much bigger and leave a ton of edge, which I'm not salty about leaving a ton of edge. An 8 by 10 would be fine. They don't really make arches 8 by 10. They make them like 5 by 7, 4 by 6. excuse me, they are just like not made that way. So I'm watching eBay and looking for frames for this, and I'm going to hit some thrift stores and see what I can find. I also found a pattern to 3D print a frame. So I might just have to have my sister do that because she 3D prints her models. So super cool. I cannot wait to have this done. I would normally like gesture to my Halloween Ouija, but as you can see by the command strip here, it is upstairs as Halloween decor right now. So it has to go to it has to come back to its spot because this is made to pair with that. I also have right now two other patterns that I want to be part of the set of like divination tools. So it's going to be, I'll put the pictures here. So it's going to be Halloween Ouija by Tiny Modernist. It is going to be Greetings from Beyond by Night Spirit Studios. It is going to be the Pendulum board. This was I got this in the Divination box by Starlight Stitchery. Shoot. I'll put the artist down here. And then the answers are in the leaves by, I believe, the Witchy Stitcher. Double check me. There will be another title down here. I want those 4 to be, which is also in that divination book. So I want those 4 to be a set. And I will do the color conversion and try and put them on similar fabrics so that they all feel cohesive. And the divination theme has been like huge lately. So if I find other pieces that I think feel like they kind of have to match in style too. Like I feel like all 3 of them have a kind of illustrative style, or all 4 of them have this kind of illustrative style. There's a feature of moths in a couple of them. They feel very like they could be part of the same set. So it has to have the right feel too. Next up is, this is Eat Crow by Plum Street Samplers. And I've been meaning to look up, like I know the meaning of eat crow as a saying, meaning like eat your words. I don't know why it specifically is, I don't know what the sentiment is here in this stitch. So I'm meaning to look that up. If anybody knows, tell me. Here's where I was. I've made good progress on this guy too. Here is where I am. So I finished up his wing, which was these big, large swaths of stitching are really the thing that takes up the most time. Got half a pumpkin done and outlined for the rest of the pumpkin. I had the word crow. I think I got some, I might have finished this flower. Got a couple outlines. I finally picked, if I didn't have it last time, I might have picked the color for these sunflower little dots. I'm doing a floss conversion because the place I always buy my floss, I was positive carried Classic Colorworks, and they don't anymore. So I did a Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works conversion to similar things. So I think it's working out, especially on this like sagey fabric. This is 14 count Misty Taupe Aida, and stitching it 2/1. And it's really coming along. I really, really like it. I like that there are black-eyed Susans. It's just very Maryland. This is a Maryland house. And I like that it's a buzzard. I feel like crows and ravens get a lot of love, and vultures and buzzards, it's a vulture, not a buzzard, are just very underrepresented and cool. I have a really cool woodcut vulture for Halloween that goes out every year. And I'm so proud of him. I'm like, nobody does vultures. And I have one. What is this? What is a thread? Okay. I saw a dangling thread. I was like, what's coming apart? What's falling apart over here? My last whip is the CryptoNaturalist Sampler by Screaming Heart Designs. And here's where I was. And here is where I am now. This one was not as much a focus this September. So I did this down here and I started on the vines. So there's a duplicate vine over here. So this is going to finish off, and then there's the word here, quite large. And then there is this big block of black where the text is just hollowed out from the black. And that is a huge stitch count. I am, let me see here, 62%. Oh God, I'm in the 60s of a lot of stuff. It feels so close. God, that freaking cat hair, killing me. It feels so close. Feels like I've really made progress. So I'm 62% done on this. This unfortunately will not be with the In Loving Memory. This is not going to be the focus piece for October. October is going to be In Loving Memory, Eat Crow. I'd like to have done by the end of October, and I Want to Believe. Why are we trying to make me think today? But I am going to try and get a couple stitches on this. Try maybe get this vine done. I have been really in a bit of a stitchy slump. Like, I started on It's In Loving Memory and then really questioned whether it was appropriate. Like, had this like week long of like, one, my instinct is to immediately stitch something. Some people might not appreciate that, might not get that it's a meaningful gift, might just like, oh, here's a little thing. Not that I think that this person is particularly like that, but he's an older guy, you know. And two, I didn't want to open a wound that was working its way closed, you know. It would take me months to do. I was planning for Christmas, and I did not want to, you know, reopen things. So I asked a couple people. I was like, do you feel like that is inappropriate? And everybody I talked to was like, absolutely not. He will love it. Apparently he used to cross stitch, like several years ago. When he and his wife got together, he cross stitched, which I was like, that is so, I remember knowing that, and it just like never like settled in my brain. And they're like, he will appreciate it. It is so perfect. Like, please finish it for him. And I was like, that took a lot of weight off my chest. I'm very like skeptical of my own gift giving ability. Like, if it's not my sister, who I know very, very well, I'm like, I don't know if I am being too close. Like, am I over gifting type thing? Is this to their tastes? You know, like that kind of thing. I'm very skeptical of my own gifts. So I have to have lots of people reassure me that I'm doing the right thing. And so that helped a little bit. But I'm feeling the itch for a new start that doesn't have a lot of weighty emotional ties. I just really want a new start. And Tiny Modernist just put out this spooky teapot, and I need it so bad. I need it so bad. She also just released the next section of Make Today Magical. She is definitely one of my favorite artists. Her, Witchy Stitcher, Night Spirit Studio are like top of my charts. Also, oh shoot, I can't remember her name. I'll put it she's on Instagram. I've looked at every single thing she does. They're all amazing. It's like Supine. Oh shit. I can't remember. There. She's amazing. I'll put some of her stuff that I love so much. They're in my tops. And I have tons of patterns that I just need to get through. But I feel like I've got to get some stuff off my luckily shrinking WIP list. I know some people are like, 28 WIPs. That's like, you know, that's a light load. I'm like, oh God, these 5 are killing me. So I need to get some finishes under my belt. Having some smalls, like Eat Crow is helping. So I'm going to get some stuff done. And then freaking Lola Crow is also putting out stuff. I also want the haunted house that Starlight Stitchery is doing. I'm just going to do the PDF. The haunted house where lots of designers design a room in the haunted mansion. Brilliant. Can't wait to see that. So lots of fun stuff coming out. Spooky season is my favorite season for everything, literally. So I'm a little overwhelmed by not feeling like I can start other things. Like all this stuff is out. All this beautiful, spooky, occult stuff is out and I want it so bad. So fun stuff. I hope you are having a wonderful spooky season. I hope you're having the time of your life stitching whatever. Maybe you're starting Christmas. Maybe you're actually ahead of the game, unlike me, who's only stitches for what's going on right in front of her. So if you are, I hope you're having a wonderful time. I hope you're getting as much progress as you want. Have as many WIPs as you want open. And I will be back actually in 2 weeks. Stay safe, stay sane.